Coming up on Around San Diego, the head of the EPA in town, getting a first-hand look at the cross-border sewage crisis. So many are hoping this meeting brings real change. And in a push for safety, speed limits in certain San Diego neighborhoods will be going down. Plus, food banks are sounding the alarm as potential cuts from the federal government could impact how they get their food supply. Hello and welcome. Hope it's been a great week. Thank you for joining us as we take you around San Diego. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day, and I'll get you caught up on a week's worth of news, and we'll look ahead in less than 30 minutes. We do begin with the cross-border sewage crisis. The head of the Environmental Protection Agency was in San Diego this week, getting a first-hand look at the issue now spanning decades. CBS 8's Brian White visited the International Wastewater Treatment Plant and has more from his highly anticipated visit.
Yeah, EPA Chief Lee Zeldin has been getting briefed on all the aspects of the sewage crisis here at the border, coming up to speed on all the different elements of the problem here. Now, here's some of what he had to say.
We care that there are no more beach closures. We care that there's no more foul smells. We care that there's no more harm to public health.
EPA Chief Lee Zeldin speaking candidly to local leaders and reporters today about the need for Mexico to do its part in fixing this issue.
I know that our counterparts in Mexico are listening, and I say this with all due respect, but to understand what's going on inside of the American who just cares about having it resolved, they don't give a shit how it gets done, as long as this crisis is over.
We'll kick this tour off.
This is video of Zeldin touring the Tijuana River Valley this morning. First stop, the International Wastewater Treatment Plant on our side of the border.
There was once two valves over here. Both of them have failed.
More than $600 million have been secured by Congress over the past 4 years to not only repair the plant, but to expand it and double its capacity, something that will take at least another 4 or 5 years.
Whenever it rains through here, we get bombarded with tons of sediment, rocks, tires, pipes, all sorts of stuff.
Next stop on the tour was Smuggler's Gulch, where trash and debris coming from Mexico frequently clog up our collection equipment, causing pumps to fail prematurely. At one point, Zeldin was asked about declaring a state of emergency over this crisis. Here was his response.
California has not declared a state of emergency. If California is requesting a disaster declaration, then the federal government will consider the state's disaster declaration. But there is no request that is in front of us.
This afternoon, he did meet with Navy SEALs who train in the polluted water, and he also went up in a helicopter to view the border area, but media was not allowed on that part of the tour. Reporting near the border, Brian White, CBS 8.
Yeah, and environmental groups were also out at the border that day protesting the Trump administration and EPA Director Lee Zeldin. Members from the groups tell us they are happy that leaders are paying attention to the Tijuana River crisis, but are upset with the decisions being made by this administration that do impact the environment and people's well-being, such as threatening to strip certain nonprofits of their tax-exempt status.
Think about what you love about having a safe park for your children to play in and see see green grass and trees and breathe clean air and not worrying when you turn on the tap that they're going to get sick from that water. These are the types of things that this Trump administration is threatening.
Yeah, meanwhile, the EPA fired and reassigned hundreds of workers this week. An EPA spokesperson said those affected are staff who worked at the Office of Environmental Justice and External Civil Rights. Employees with the Office of Inclusive Excellence were also impacted. Overall, around 280 staff members were let go as part of the reduction. They added the cuts are in line with President Trump's executive order targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now a closer look at proposed cuts in San Diego. Mayor Todd Gloria's draft budget aims to address a $258 million deficit. Cuts include closing libraries on Sundays and Mondays, reducing rec center hours, removing all beach fire pits, and closing some public restrooms. Funding will also be cut for art programs and the Humane Society. People who spoke at this week's council meeting said the future feels bleak for these important programs.
Critical cuts would devastate our Parks After Dark program, which offers a safe, engaging evening activities for our at-risk youth.
Yeah, Mayor Gloria says these cuts will impact every San Diegan, and he fears economic uncertainty could force the city to slash even more from the budget.
Diego is facing serious financial headwinds brought on by broader economic volatility, including inflationary pressures, new international tariffs, and a structural budget deficit that we have carried for years.
While many programs face reductions, the budget actually does increase funding for public safety, with $29 million more to help hire more police officers and $24 million more for the fire rescue department. But as the city faces this projected $250 million deficit, the mayor is also proposing shutting down SDPD's Northwestern Division there in Carmel Valley. It also serves Del Mar Heights, Sereno Valley, Torrey Highlands, and Black Mountain Ranch. It would be consolidated with Northeastern Division there in Rancho Penasquitos. Chief Scott Wall says all communities would retain police coverage. The move could save the city $1.7 million, but critics say that the real cost could be to public safety.
Call 911, they expect somebody to answer, and they expect an officer to show up. And to cut public safety is absolutely irresponsible.
Yeah, a series of budget hearings on this draft will be held from May 5th to the 9th before the revised budget proposal is then presented to the City Council on May 19th. The new budget has to be adopted by June 10th. Now, there are also some new stats out this week showing overall crime is down in the city of San Diego. The mayor and chief of police say it proves the city is one of the safest in the nation. CBS 8's David Godfredson takes a closer look at which crimes are down and where crime rates are up.
2024 marked the third year that San Diego saw a decrease in our crime.
All good news from San Diego's chief of police and mayor, presenting the city's 2024 crime numbers Tuesday morning for reporters.
Homicides were down nearly 20%. Shootings dropped by 30%. Robberies and sexual assaults fell by close to 11% each. And motor vehicle thefts declined by 20%.
They attributed the crime drop to good policing.
That is not by luck. That is not by happenstance. It is a decision that we have made as mayor, as police chief, and as a community that lawlessness will not rule the day in America's finest city.
We have top-tier policing.
Police Chief Scott Wall presented the same news to the City Council late Tuesday afternoon.
So I want to congratulate you and your whole department on keeping San Diego the safest, largest city in the nation.
In fact, crime numbers are down across California and nationwide.
We're certainly seeing, at least statewide, that the crime indicators are suggesting declines.
And the reasons why are complicated, according to the Nonpartisan Public Policy Institute of California.
It's hard to draw any definitive conclusions about any particular policies.
On the upside, hate crimes are down 9% in the city of San Diego, and prostitution was down last year nearly 16% due to increased enforcement. Other crimes were up last year. Larceny, mainly due to shoplifting, up nearly 12%. Drug offenses up nearly 20%. Kidnappings and abductions up 17%. Two of the city council districts saw an overall increase in crime last year. District 3, an increase of 5.6% overall, and District 2, an increase of 2.4%. These crime numbers are coming in while the city is in the middle of budget negotiations, and they're considering the possible closure of the police department's Northwestern Division in Carmel Valley. That's in District 1, where the overall crime rate is about the same as last year. At City Hall, David Godfredson, CBS 8.
And again, we'll keep you posted on those final decisions on the budget. Now, some San Diego neighborhoods will see lower speed limits come this summer. The City Council unanimously approved a proposal that will align San Diego speed limits with the new state law, AB 43. This will lower the speed limit from 25 to 20 miles per hour in some streets around North Park, Hillcrest, and Normal Heights. The goal is to improve pedestrian safety.
That will save lives, make our streets safer for pedestrians and bicyclists, and it will apply to a number of our business activity districts where we see a lot of pedestrians and bicyclists and unfortunately too many accidents.
Yeah, City Council says the proposal reflects extensive community input from residents, traffic safety advocates, and business owners who identified where lower speed limits could improve safety. Now, also this week, Governor Gavin Newsom expanded the accessibility of overdose reversing drugs, now offering the state's generic version of Narcan or naloxone to Californians online at a cheaper price of $24. California is the first in the nation to offer something like this. We talked to an expert at UC San Diego who says making Narcan more accessible and affordable to people is the right move, though some people may be uncomfortable with the idea of making it safer for someone to use drugs.
We make something a bit safer. There's always a chance some people will be more comfortable taking risks, like, some people drive faster with seatbelts.
Yeah, so in addition to purchasing naloxone online, people may also get access to the drug through San Diego County and other nonprofits, which often offer the drug for free. Now, food banks are sounding the alarm as potential cuts from the federal government could impact how they get their food supply, specifically with local farmers. The USDA has announced it will no longer be funding the Local Food Purchase Assistance Cooperative Agreement program, which plays a crucial role in supporting local agriculture by providing funds for schools and food banks to purchase food from local farms and producers. Local food banks tell us this could impact the communities they're supporting.
1,000 is staggering number, right? Especially in San Diego County. Again, we're serving about half of that, so just over 400,000 people every month. We're committed to continue that support.
The Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank says local farmers who work with them could now be looking at a 90% drop in revenue if the state does not step in and prioritize the Cal Food program. Well, coming up, a detective sergeant was honored at the Women in Blue luncheon for what she did during the rescue of 2 twin girls. We'll share their story next. Well, this week, Detective Sergeant Brigitte Bells was honored at the 14th annual Women in Blue luncheon. She helped rescue twin girls whose father drove them off a cliff in his car in what police do believe was an intentional act. Sergeant Bells has since forged a special bond with those twin girls and their mother. CBS 8's Steve Price met up with them and shares their heartwarming story.
She was in the right place at the right time. A San Diego police sergeant helped rescue 2 little girls after a frightening incident. Usually for first responders, the story ends there. But this isn't one of those stories.
She's my hero. She's my hero. She's everything to me. She's family. She means so much because without her being there and then continuously being there, I don't think my daughters would be so well-rounded. I mean, she definitely contributes to our happiness.
Jenna Bryans found a silver lining to a very dark cloud. Her name is Sergeant Brigitte Bells.
She has one of the biggest hearts that I know. She cares so much.
June 13, 2020, Jenna's estranged husband, Brian, drove off Sunset Cliffs into the ocean on purpose with their twin daughters inside.
Hold on.
Fortunately, Sergeant Bells, who still clearly remembers the chaos of that day, was close by and carried one of the girls to a waiting ambulance.
I just remember patting her back and saying, I got you, you're safe, it's okay, you're gonna be fine.
Sergeant Bells didn't speak to the girls after that night, but never forgot about them. Then, earlier this year, a fellow officer set up a surprise reunion.
Brought me to tears because I hadn't seen him since the incident.
They immediately had a special bond, so much so that Sergeant Bells has invited them to play centers, ice cream, even had lunch with the girls at their school.
I see how positive and what amazing, young, beautiful girls they are, and I'm hoping that I can be a really positive role model in their lives.
Robert Bryans pleaded guilty last year to multiple charges, including attempted murder, and was sentenced to 31 years in prison. Despite all the girls have gone through, their mom says they are doing remarkably well.
They are thriving. They are doing absolutely wonderful, succeeding in school. We're going into 2nd grade. They are doing gymnastics, sports. They love swimming.
And Sergeant Bells, who is retiring from the police department this summer, plans to be there to cheer them on.
I just want them to know how loved they are, how incredible they are, that we're always going to be there for them, and then they can fight through anything and be anything that they want.
Steve Price, CBS 8.
Yeah, we certainly need more like her, Steve. Thank you. Another good one still ahead. One man is on an epic hike, really a mission of a lifetime, taking on the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail. We'll give you an update on his adventure next. Welcome back. We introduced you to Rob Cook earlier this month. He's on an epic hike, taking on the Pacific Crest Trail and Parkinson's disease at the same time. Well, how is it going so far? CBS 8's Abby Black caught up with the hiker during a stop where he explains how staying connected is keeping him moving forward.
Hiker Rob Cook has reached a personal milestone. He surpassed 100 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail in just 16 days. He survived an earthquake in Julian, and a pinched nerve nearly sidelined one of his days. But he continues to push forward on this journey to raise awareness for Parkinson's disease, finding freedom in his own diagnosis with each step on the trail.
Good morning, day 1 on the PCT.
Rob Cook took his first step on the Pacific Crest Trail on Sunday, April 6th.
One of the first milestones on the PCT.
The avid hiker documents his journey on YouTube, sharing breathtaking views and wildlife. Today, one critter slithered away too fast to capture.
Just saw my first rattler on trail just a little bit ago.
Staying connected means enduring nature's challenges, howling winds at night and harsh conditions between miles 50 and 100.
It was foggy, windy, and cold all at once.
We caught up with Cook at Paradise Valley Cafe in the San Jacinto Mountains, where he's reconnecting with comfort.
Today I get a treat of some town foods.
The trail itself fosters unexpected connections through its community of volunteers known as Trail Angels. They provide support such as shelter, food, and water.
Doing this trail would be so much more difficult without the Trail Angels out there. It's one of those reaffirming things about human nature.
These connections prove vital as he faces physical setbacks.
Once in a while, I've had a what have I got myself into moment.
When pain threatens to disconnect him from his goal, he finds inspiration.
Paraphrase Winston Churchill, when you find you're in hell, keep pushing through.
While connected on the trail, he's able to disconnect from the incurable disease he's fighting.
One of the really nice things about being out on trail, I don't think about Parkinson's. It's nice to just leave it behind.
He's raised nearly $2,000 for the Michael J. Fox Foundation and continues accepting donations.
Sunrise in desert camp.
Though momentarily disconnected from news, we broke the story of the Pope's death, but he felt quite connected to the 5.2 magnitude earthquake in Julian.
I was on the second floor of a building here, and it shook pretty good.
Despite some challenges, Cook stays connected with his purpose.
You got to put one foot in front of the other and make it go.
Abby Black, CBS 8.
Yeah, impressive and inspiration, so good work. That will do it for us. Thank you for your time. Take good care. I'm Jenny Day for CBS 8. Go Pods.